Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Okay, so this video is going to be about how narcissists twist words, or actually that was the last video. This is going to be a takeoff from that one. In fact, I tried to put this in that video, but it got too long, okay? So this is a slightly different thing that they do. Alright, so right now I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to give you a real example of a tactic, that strategy that narcissists use, or a technique actually, that's a linguistic technique to scramble your brain, okay? And it's the reason why whenever you talk to narcissists you get really exhausted and you get like a fog, okay? So this is a form of what we would call witchcraft, okay? So don't go too deep down that witchcraft hole. It's really the way that they're playing with languaging. And I'm going to show you specifically what they're doing and how they're doing it and why you or your brain goes along with it, because it's a little trick that they do that it seems like, oh well, this is a normal part of the flow of conversation, when no, it's not at all. Okay, so something I want to throw in right here is that the reason why you got caught up in it is because you felt sorry for them. This is why narcissists play the nice guy. They play the feel sorry for me, or they play the I'm just a dumb person, I don't know any better. Like, you could talk and say, oh, what does that word mean? It's like, wait, you're 50 years old and you don't know what that word means? Like what planet are you from? Okay, so they play dumb on purpose. They play, oh, I'm just a little boy, I'm just a little, and so they do it to get you to feel sorry for them. Why? Because if a normal person did this to you, you'd be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? This is weird, and you would take off. But with them, they do it, you start feeling tired, you start to get confused, and you start getting exhausted, but you overlook it and be like, well, you know, they're just kind of dumb, they're struggling to communicate. No, this is not a struggle for them, it's a struggle for you, and that is what it was designed for. And this entire technique, which I'm going to get to right now, its whole design is to put you in a fog so they can manipulate you, so they can start being mean to you and start to basically beat you down. Not only belittle you, but to put terror in you and make you feel afraid all the time and walking on eggshells. Let me tell you something right now. The minute someone starts to act in a way that makes you walk on eggshells, stomp the hell out of those eggshells, call them on their bullshit, tell them they're an asshole, tell them they're a jerk, say I'm not playing your games, smash the shit out of them. They'll be like, oh shit. Because when they start realizing their strategies don't work, they're just like, oh fuck. Like, you'll see this look in the face like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? See, it doesn't work if you don't let it. Remember, the narcissists only go after willing victims. People that fight back, people that call them on their shit, they're like, oh shit, can't pull the wool over this person's eyes. Nope. Alright, so here's the technique that they use on you. It is what I personally call advanced word salad, because it doesn't quite sound like word salad, yet it is, and it also has the same effect. So word salad in general, the first time I heard it, I didn't understand it because it doesn't make any sense, and that's kind of the whole point. Word salad is generally for people, I believe, if I remember right, it was schizophrenic people. The first time I learned about it was in one of my psychology classes. And I think people with brain injuries can also speak in word salad. So word salad is a very incoherent, disconnected series of words that seemingly don't make sense, okay, at least to the normal person. So here's an example of word salad. It's bird, tree, bath, water, milk, house, roof, hill. It's just like, wait, what? It's word salad. It's just words being thrown into a salad or thrown into a bowl. Another form of word salad, which seems to be more coherent but it's not, is when someone says, well, you know, the rice is the rice, and when you take rice and you cook with rice, you have rice, and rice is very delicious, and that's why you go down to the store to buy rice, because there's a lot of rice at the store and you can buy it there. And so you can feel safe and assured that you can have rice because it's right where you want it. And when you bring it home, you feel comfortable having rice and have eaten rice. And you're like, wait, what the fuck did they say? They didn't say anything. And that's a form of word salad. Now here's the one you're probably going to deal with the narcissist. They generally mix a couple techniques in together. One, I went over these, but this one I'm breaking it down a lot better. Is the first thing they're going to do is they're generally going to start a conversation and wait for you to kind of add into it, or they're going to ask you a question to get you to start talking, okay? So one technique they do with this word salad is they ask you a question, and then usually in the beginning they'll let you talk for about 2, 3, 4 sentences, and then they'll cut you off and interrupt and then say what they want to say. And then they'll ask you another question, and then they'll start to interrupt you sooner, and then they'll ask a question after they asked you a question. So they ask you a question, you start to answer, but you get about 8 or 10 words out, and then it interrupts with another question. You start that one, they interrupt with that one. Now what this does, as I said in past videos, it gets your brain to spin. Now you got all these open stories, these what we call open loops, and none of them are complete. And right there is the whole goal, is to open a bunch of stories and don't complete any of them, because now your brain's thinking about all these stories. So it takes up your conscious mind's memory card, so to speak. And now when your brain is thinking about all these different stories, now they can slip in what's called embedded commands. Okay, they could say, oh, you're a loser, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're that. Okay, you're a narcissist, and stuff like that. Okay, so let's call that the question pattern. Now this video is about another technique that they intertwine with that one, where they interrupt you with question, and don't let you finish any thought. Okay, here's what it is. And when you feel sorry for them, you generally don't call them on their bullshit. I do. I just did it about 5 days ago on someone. Here's what it is. So you start to answer a question, or you're talking about a subject, right? And what they will do is they will grab a word and they will run with it off to left field. Okay, here's what I mean. Let's say they asked you, like, well, how's your brother, how's that problem that your brother's been dealing with for the last week? You know, did he resolve it, or what's going on? And you go, oh, what's the funny thing you say that, because he actually called me up today, and we went and had lunch today at such and such a restaurant, and we were ordering salad, and they go, oh, I love salad. You know, there's a great place in this other city called blah, 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 and the salad is really great up there. And, you know, there's a waitress there. And you know what she said to me? And now what they're doing, now they're going into another story. So they grabbed that word salad and they ran with it. So now they're going to another restaurant or another place that has a great salad, and then they talk about the conversation with their waitress, and now they start going on and on about this waitress's story. Essentially, that's it, except then what they do, first of all, so what happens is, number one, you didn't finish what you were talking about at all. So you still have that open loop going on. Number two, they ran to another restaurant and then about this waitress's story. Now here's one thing they'll do. They won't finish the story of what the waitress was talking about. So there's open loop number two. So then what they can do is one of two things. They may interrupt that story and say, oh, did I ever tell you about so-and-so? Oh, yesterday afternoon, blah, blah, blah. And they start a completely different story that has nothing to do with the original question, has nothing to do with the salad, and has nothing to do with the waitress's story. So now they just opened up a fourth loop. So then they don't finish that story, and it's almost like they kind of gobbledygook the story, and they're talking blah, 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 and they will purposely, trust me, they purposely will lower their voice so low, and they'll start to mumble, so you can't understand what they're saying, and you're like, what are you talking about, and what? Oh, nothing. So anyways, and they'll ask you another question. And then you start to answer the question, and then they'll interrupt, say, 2 sentences or 3 sentences mid-sentence, and they'll ask you another question, or they'll take a word from that sentence and they'll go off on another loop. This is what I call advanced word salad, because nothing makes sense, none of the stories connect, and they never finish any of the stories at all. And what it does to your brain is you have all these open stories literally spinning like the computer, and all of a sudden your desktop, your computer freezes, and you got that little, at least with Apple computers, we got that spinning beach ball, and it's just frozen, and you got to wait for the damn thing to stop to catch up. So while your brain is frozen, you're stuck on like 7, 8, 9, 10, even 20 stories that are spinning in your head, and you're trying to complete them. See, your unconscious mind will complete stories on its own, even making up its own stuff. And so that's essentially what it's doing. Or you're going, hey, what about that one story? Now, I'm really good at catching this stuff because of what I'm trained in Ericksonian hypnosis. Like, I can identify this stuff really fast. And I said, hey, stop. I literally shoved my hand in his face, go, stop. And this was at a coffee shop because I was kind of pissed saying, stop. What the hell does this story have to do with your original question? And then I'll repeat the question like, oh, I don't know. Why? I'm like, because you never finished the thought. And I go, you never let me finish the thought either. Oh, sorry about that. And then they'll immediately start talking, going into a completely new story. So I literally reached out, grabbed his forearm, his bicep actually, and I squeezed it. I go, stop. I go, don't do this bullshit. And he goes, what are you talking about? I go, dude, you keep asking me questions, and number one, you don't let me finish the question. Number two, you start opening stories and you never finish the story, and you ask me a question or you go on to another story. I go, look, dude, you know what? We're going to go back to the first story, the first question, and I'm going to complete that thought, okay? Here's, oh, okay, man. So I start to finish what my answer was, and sure enough, boom, he interrupts me in about 2 sentences, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm done. And I got up and walked away. Now, here's the deal. I know a lot of you have been through this, and you're like, well, why did I put up with this? Because they feel sorry for me thing, and as an empath or a kind, loving person or whatever you want to call it, you just thought, oh, they must be kind of slow mentally, or they must be scattered, or they must be having a bad day, or whatever. It's all bullshit excuses that you're making up. Now, this person, I've heard him talk before. He never talked in open loops like that. At least I'd never noticed it. I've heard him talk to his friends in a very normal way. And the other thing, he owns his own business. So if somebody is smart enough to run their own business for year after year after year and pay their mortgage with it, trust me, they're not a dumb person. Essentially, and I don't mean to be rude, the dumb person would be you for falling for it. And that's what they're laughing at. They're like, man, this person is totally falling for this. Now, why do they do this? What is their purpose/intention? Number one, to confuse the living shit out of you to where you literally, have you ever had a conversation with someone, you walked away like you were lightheaded, you were physically dizzy, and all your energy was stuck in your head, like you were stuck in your head, and you didn't feel good, and you were confused, and you couldn't think clear? That was their intention. And you also felt exhausted? That was their intention. This is one of the techniques on how they suck the vital force, the actual energy outside of your body. Now, we use a technique similar to this, but it's the opposite direction. See, one thing I noticed about narcissists, they reverse anything good and turn it into bad or use it for bad. So one thing we'll do is we will do what's called open loops. We start a story, we don't finish it, start another one, don't finish, start another one, don't finish, start another one, don't finish. But the purpose is to embed the commands that they need. Like, they want confidence, they want to see themselves in a certain light, they want to feel comfortable in their sport or overcome a fear. And then you do the healing work, and then you close the loop, close the loop, close the loop, close the loop. And now you have your clarity back. See, we open loops so we can get your ego out of the way, because the ego is basically the doorway. If we can't get past the ego, we can't help you change. The number one difference with a narcissist is, number one, they never close any of the loops. So you go home, you're dizzy, you can't sleep well at night. And have you guys ever, after talking to someone, you went home, tried to go to sleep that night, and you were stuck in your head, and you, for the life of you, you couldn't go to sleep? That's what it does when you have a bunch of open loops open. So over the last few months, a lot of you found my channel and you're like, man, dude, when you explain things, they make a lot of sense. Well, it's because of what I was trained in the past for a long, long time, neuro-linguistic programming and Ericksonian hypnosis. They're essentially using these therapeutic techniques in reverse. Well, what do they say about narcissists? They do everything backwards. So I went out to dinner with a lady. This was about a year and a half ago, I think. And I noticed we had only been out 3 times. I noticed every time I was with him, I get this confused, like what the hell's going on? Like my brain was tired, and I told her, I'm tired, I'm going to go home. And we were out to dinner one time, and she started opening these loops and questions, and I caught on. I was like, hey, can you slow down a little bit? I'm getting really sick and tired of having to, like, not finish anything. And I called her on it. So, but she kept doing it, and then I looked up because I was thinking about the stories and what I was going to say, and she physically leans over. She was sitting next to me. We're at a restaurant, and she goes, you're a narcissist, you're a narcissist, you're a narcissist. And I go, what the fuck did you say? Because most people would be so spun out, they wouldn't even hear it. Believe it or not, but this has happened to you, and they've embedded commands that make you feel shame, and your self-esteem goes down, and you feel bad. You feel like, oh my God, am I a narcissist? And all that shit. They put that in there. So essentially what they did, like I said, is they got your ego to think about all these open loops, to try to figure them out and try to, because you're stuck in there, and it's like your forehead energy, your forehead brain, your ego is stuck like a stuck computer, and that little beach ball is spinning, and when they see that in your eyes, they'll literally lean in and whisper into your ear, blah 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 blah. That's how they do it. Another thing is, I caught my ex-girlfriend doing this 5 times, okay? The first time I caught her, I didn't want to tell her I caught her, because I knew this was the first time I did it. I was just being playful. I was just being goofy, right? At nighttime, she would literally whisper in my ear over and over, and I woke up when she was doing this, and I was like, what the fuck? Now, I'm a light sleeper, so I wake up at anything, right? But I kept my eyes closed. I acted like I was sleeping. I even fake snored. She goes, nobody likes you. Everyone hates you. Nobody likes you. Everyone hates you. She did this over and over. And after about 5 minutes, I kind of got sick and tired of it. And oh, hey, baby, what's going on? She goes, huh? Oh, nothing, baby. How you doing? Right? And so I just looked in there like, I know exactly what the fuck you're doing. So I let her do it 5 more times. And I did the fake wake up thing. And the 6th time she did it, I grabbed her arm. I go, what the fuck are you doing? And I screamed at her ear. She goes, oh, nothing, baby. I go, fuck you. You're not sleeping. Bullshit. I've been listening to you do this blah, blah, what you said. She goes, oh, no, baby. I was just goofing around. I go, really? Then why did you do it? She goes, oh, I just did this 1 time. I go, bullshit. I caught you doing it last night, the night before, last week, and 3 times the week before. And she goes, oh, so you heard that? I go, I was awake the whole time. These are evil fuckers. They know exactly what they're doing. Do not doubt that for a moment. If you ever get around someone and they start speaking this word salad, or they grab a word and go on to a different direction and they just keep doing it, get the hell away from them. Tell them to shut the F up. You know the real thing that you really, 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 really need to listen to? You need to start listening to your gut, listen to your intuition and your feelings. For example, as I said in videos a long time ago, you don't need to know what they're doing. You don't need to know if they're a narcissist. All you need to know is one thing. When you walk away from someone, do you feel worse than when you first started talking to them, or do you feel better, or do you feel worse? If you feel shame, if you feel insecure, if you feel low, if you feel tired, if you feel whatever, I'm telling you, you don't need to know what they're doing or why. Just get away from them. If you take a hit on your self-esteem and you don't notice what they do, because you have to understand, they're professionals at this. They're not going to make it obvious. They're going to be very, very slick and very smooth. It's going to seem like underneath the current, like you didn't even notice it, you didn't even hear it. All you need to do is pay attention to your feeling. If for some reason when you get around someone you feel bad about yourself, any negative emotion from frustration, anger, hate, emotions that make you feel like shame, guilt, depression, just get away from them. You don't need to know what they did or why. And you don't need to explain it to them either. And don't even try, because if you try to explain why you don't want to talk to them more, they're just going to freaking... they're going to do this mind twisting games with you. Just get away and block them. Say, hey, don't call me again. I don't want to talk to you. They're like, well, why? Say, I don't know. I just got a bad feeling. Or I wouldn't even do that. Say, I don't know. I just don't want to talk to you anymore. So if you're asking, how come this doesn't happen to other people? Because other people wouldn't put up with that bullshit in a million fucking years. You are this, for some reason, were probably raised by narcissists who trained you to put up with abuse and deal with other people's bullshit. Because all of this stuff is other people's bullshit. It's not your bullshit. So you need to respect yourself. You need to be a soldier. You need to be strong. Say, no, I don't put up with that. Anything less than awesome is not for me. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine if from this point forward, anything less than awesome, any person less than awesome, any experience less than awesome is like, no, I don't accept that in my life. You would never in a million years put up with a narcissist bullshit. You really want to change your life? Number one, listen to your intuition. Listen to your gut. Pay attention to how you feel around someone or after you walked away. Another way you could say that is if you get that dizziness, if you get confused after talking to someone, or you feel tired mentally and you can't sleep at night after talking to someone, like your head's spinning, like you're stuck in your head, don't go back to that person. Period. End of sentence. What you can do to get out of your head is sea salt baths with, you could put like lavender oil in there, some rubbing alcohol, nice warm to hot, because it physically will pull you back into your body, and the salt breaks off, it dissolves all negative connections, okay? Another thing you can do is deep breathing. Even if you just breathe in and hold your breath for 10 seconds, and then 12 seconds, and then 15, and then 20, and then 30, and see if you can go up to as long as a minute. This will oxygenate your blood system, and it pulls your energy down inside your body so you can be more emotionally grounded. Another thing is just deep stretching. Stretch for 20 minutes while holding your breath. So before you stretch, you take in a deep breath or a medium breath, and you stretch and you hold it, and you hold the stretch and the breath. And then when you can't hold it, say after 20 seconds or so, then you breathe it out and then lean forward into the stretch. Okay, this will help you become emotionally grounded. Another thing is deep tissue massage. But don't get a massage therapist that yammers away, yammer, because that's going to pull you up in your head. That's not the purpose of going to massage. Another thing is do something physical, like go for a long, brisk walk, not a slow walk, and do deep breathing in your nose. Hold it for a couple seconds. Blow it out in your nose. And blow it out. So do about 4 or 5 deep breaths while you're walking, and then walk for a block, and then do 4 or 5 deep breaths again. Get your oxygen going, okay? Get movement, lift weights, do something physical. The second most important thing you can do to change your life is change the people that you're hanging around. It is really simple. If you're surrounded by people that are motivated, inspired, and I don't mean they're just talking the bullshit. I mean people that are taking action, who are because you know a lot of guys will be like, oh, I wrote some goals down because they know that women like guys with goals. It's like a woman will read through that bullshit in a heartbeat. But they're on the wall, Mike. So what the hell does that mean? She's going to look at those goals, and then she's going to watch over the next couple of days and weeks and see how you talk. Like with me, I'm always talking about my business. I'm always talking about getting more clients. I'm always, making more YouTube videos. I'm writing books. I'm doing blogging. I'm always adjusting my website. It's like I'm on it. If you just got a bunch of written, empty goals on the walls, she's going to figure that out really fast. Here's my point, and I know for some of you it's going to be hard. It was for me, but you have to cut out all the people that aren't doing anything with their life, because you take on that actual energy. Get around people that are moving, they're in movement, they're setting goals, they're taking action. Like, let's say somebody wants to be a lawyer. Well, did they ever work at a law firm? Did they assist at a law firm? Did they do something at a law firm? You want to work for them because you want to be around the environment, because it rubs off on you. You pick up on the words and the phrases, and you learn things even though you don't even realize you're learning. So let's say you want to be a bakery. Do you work at a bakery? Are you getting experience at a bakery? Are you going to school to be a baker? What are you doing? In other words, get off your ass. Read books about your industry. Talk to people in your industry. Get involved. Go to school. If you can only take one class, then take the one class. Get moving. And be around other people who have like interest, because you guys will rub off of each other in a very positive way. Hey, I think that's it for this video, guys. Remember, if you get around anyone who spins circles, who doesn't make any sense, who doesn't complete thoughts, get away from them. Here's another way of looking at it. Do you walk away feeling alive, refreshed, inspired? You just feel good about yourself. You can breathe deep. That's a good sign. That's a good person. Does your head have clarity? That's another good sign. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for listening. Remember, click subscribe, click that like button, and go ahead and go to my website at Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. If you want to help out this channel, buy one of my dating relationship books or packages. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a donation button, a PayPal button right below in the description box. See you guys in the next video. God bless you.